Imagine, if you will, a world where your private messages, your financial transactions, your personal data are no longer truly secure. This isn't a plot of a dystopian novel, it's the potential reality that Europol's exec director, Catherine de Boll, is advocating for at the World Economic Forum. De Boll's mission in Davos is clear: to pressure tech companies into introducing encryption backdoors. She's framing this as a matter of protecting European democracy, but let's take a moment to unpack what this really means. Encryption is the bedrock of our digital security. It's what keeps our online banking safe, our private messages private, and our personal information out the hands of cybercriminals. But de Boll and Europol see it a little bit differently. They view strong encryption as an obstacle to law enforcement, a digital fortress they can't breach. Now, you might be thinking, well, surely if it helps catch criminals, it can't be all that bad. But here's where we need to pause a little bit and consider the bigger picture. De Boll uses an analogy that, on the surface, seems reasonable. She says, we need the key to the house when we know there's a criminal inside. I suppose it sounds logical, but let's extend this analogy a bit further. Imagine if every house in the country had the same lock and the police had a master key. Sure, they could enter any house where they suspected a criminal being active, someone burgling your gaff, but what happens when that master key falls into the wrong hands? Suddenly, every home in the nation is vulnerable, and this is precisely the problem with encryption backdoors. Once created, they become a target for hackers, cybercriminals, and even hostile foreign powers, and the very tool meant to keep us safe becomes our greatest vulnerability. De Boll's argument presents a false dichotomy between security and privacy. She's essentially saying we must sacrifice our privacy and civil liberties for the sake of security. Well, here's the rub. Weakening encryption doesn't just affect privacy, it undermines our overall security too. Just think about it. Your online banking, your work emails, your personal messages, maybe to people who you didn't want other people to know you were messaging, all of these rely on strong encryption. Weaken that, and you're not just exposing potential criminals, you're exposing everyone. Perhaps one of the most alarming statements from de Boll is her declaration that, quote, anonymity is not a fundamental right. Really? This is a dangerous precedent to set. In a free and open society, the right to privacy, to be free from unwarranted surveillance, is indeed fundamental. And I can guarantee you now there's going to be people at home watching this saying, yeah, but Ben, I've got nothing to hide, so if you want to look into my messages, look into where I'm spending my money, that's fine. I don't care because I'm not a criminal. Well, let me tell you one of my favourite quotes from Edward Snowden. He said, people that don't care about privacy because they've got nothing to hide is like saying you don't care about free speech because you've got nothing to say. It's your human right. De Boll